So, you think the equator is the middle of the globe Earth, do ya? Alright, let's do that. If you were to look up reasons why the equator is hotter than the rest of the Earth, these are what they'll tell you. It says stupid things like, because the equator is closer to the sun.
Hey Derek, how are you, buddy? I did this one before, but it got taken down with my Roundhound account since so many first reported it for bullying. All I was doing was reposting what you guys did and pointing out where you're utterly wrong. But I'll have another crack. This here, this is a multiple choice question. Okay, four of them are supposed to be wrong. Right, the only one that's right is the highlighted one, and you have taken it that all four of those points are right. Straight out of the gates with wrong. Awesome.
They say that while completely ignoring the fact that if you climbed a mountain, you would be closer to the sun, but it would also be colder. Okay, well, like everything else on the globe, that makes no sense.
Yeah, well, as previously pointed out, of course it makes no sense because only one of these is right. Okay, it's not hotter at the equator because it's closer to the sun. That's wrong. That's not why it's hotter at the equator. Okay, ironically, getting closer to the sun on a flat earth would make it hotter, so you shouldn't get colder when you climb a mountain, but you do. This is... fuck.
It goes on to say that the sun is always directly overhead at the equator, which makes absolutely no sense if the sun is 93 million miles away, but okay, globe people. At first glance, and with no thought added, one would assume that this 0 degree line here would be the center of the spinning globe. I say without any thought because there is something that this picture is missing. It is the tilt of the Earth. If these are the reasons why it's warmer on the equator,
which it's not, as we've discussed twice now,
how do you explain this garbage? On a tilted ball Earth, as it rotates around the sun, this line would not be perfectly down the middle of the globe Earth. They show you stupid pictures like this and you believe it. So I ask you, how does it make any sense that the middle of the Earth is up here and then the middle of the Earth is down here? This line should be running this way, not that way.
Okay, got my work cut out for me here. With your little picture there, that little picture that you had is actually incorrect because it shows the Earth on a tilt, but it shows the equator going across the actual center. Now, the equator moves around at different times a year, okay? That's why we have the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. In this spinning model here that I mocked up in Blender, a little bit more detailed than the little kids' drawings you've got there, but here we have a Northern Hemisphere summer. Okay, now the equator is shifted up on the globe, right, to the Tropic of Cancer. All right, now if I held my finger to where the most direct part of sunlight is, that's going to be roughly around about here. Now if I hold my finger there and I had a pen on the end of my finger, it would draw a line, right, around where the Tropic of Cancer is. Tropic of Cancer, like so. That's where the equator effectively is in the Northern Hemisphere summer. Okay, so let's move on to a Southern Hemisphere summer. Now, same as in the last clip, the axis is tilted over to the right a bit. It's not perpendicular to the frame, which you can see. Okay, and you'll notice that Australia is a bit higher up the globe when it comes around. This is a Southern Hemisphere summer. Okay, now you also notice that the cloud is on the other side of the Earth because we're showing that the Earth has travelled halfway around the sun. The sun is now on the other side of us. Okay, so the brightest part of the globe that you can see, the most left point of it, okay, is where the equator effectively is. Right, but when we put the equator actually on there, like this, you can see it's not in the centre of the Earth. It is shifted down a little bit from the Earth. This is the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so the equator effectively moves up and down as we travel around the sun. And in this clip, the sun is effectively where we are. We're looking straight at the Earth during the equinox, when the equator is actually right in the middle of the globe. And this is what a year would effectively look like. Imagine the sun over to our left, traveling around behind us towards the right, and you can see the equator effectively moving up the globe as a year passes, changing the seasons with it.
Is this really the type of garbage that you just blindly accept? The equator runs perfectly down the middle of the ball, but it spins on a tilted axis, making that middle line not the middle of the ball. Are you starting to see what they're doing to your mind? They are playing you for a fool. They expect you to look at stupid stuff like that and not even think about what they're showing you.
No, they don't just expect you to believe absolutely anything. Okay, you shouldn't believe this photo here, this picture that you've got there, because it's not correct. Okay, but grade 4 kids can understand that. Oh, okay, I get the concept you're talking about. That particular picture isn't exactly perfect spot on, but the concept of what you're telling me is spot on. I think why flat earthers have so much distrust in what they're being told, right, is because they just can't freaking fathom, they can't put together what they're being explained, as opposed to, you know, the absoluteness of what they're being shown. Okay. That picture isn't correct. What I showed you is correct, but kids in grade 4 can grasp the concept.
So tell me, what makes more sense to you?